It is 5 o'clock, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for April of the Boerne ISD Board of Trustees. It's April 21st. At this time, we'll call to order and establish a quorum. We have Carlin Fryer, Maritza Gonzalez-Cooper, Dr. Kristen Kraft, myself, Garrett Wilson, Christy Schmidt, Courtney Darter-Bruce, and Rich Sinna. We are missing Mr. Dallas Pipes, but he had a really good excuse, and we will have some photos later on during open session to show everybody. So at this time, we've got 6 out of the 7. At this time, we will go into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551074, deliberation regarding matters related to employment, appointments, resignations, terminations, retirements, and reassignments. Texas Government Code 5510821, deliberation of personally identifiable information about a public school student. Texas Government Code 551072, discussion of purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Texas Government Code 551074, discussion of board self-evaluation, roles and duties of board members. So at this time, it is 5:01, and we will go into closed session. All right, everybody, welcome to the regularly called session or meeting of the Boerne ISD Board of Trustees. We just came out of closed session, and we will reestablish the quorum. We've got Mr. Carlin Fryer, Maritza Gonzalez-Cooper, Dr. Kristen Kraft, myself, Garrett Wilson, Courtney Darter-Bruce, Christy Schmidt, and Rich Sinna. And then also we've got one person missing. We've got a picture though, Mr. Dallas Pipes. And so congratulations to Dallas, their 5th child, Polly Pipes. So we don't have all 7 of us, but he's out for a good reason. So yeah, and he's wearing his orange. So, but we'll get to the orange here in a little bit. That's a surprise. Okay, with that, we will move to the next item of the agenda in open session. So Ms. Reyna.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, if you could please rise for the presentation of colors by the Boerne High School Junior ROTC Color Guard.
Colors. Hope. Present. Colors.
Please join our students from Boerne Middle School South as they lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge.
Order. Colors. Colors. Oath. Colors turn harsh.
At this time, if you can please remain standing for a moment of silence and prayer. Thank you, and please be seated. Mr. President and trustees, our students from Boerne Middle School South have some great questions for you this evening.
Wonderful. Well, when you guys come up here to ask your questions, if you don't mind, just introduce yourselves and tell us your grade and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Fitzpatrick. I'm in 8th grade and I'm the STUCO Vice President. My question is, how have you seen our BIS core values in action during board meetings?
Great question. Anybody want to? I would say so. One of our BISD core values is commitment to service, and all the people up here on the dais are I was very committed to service, and so that's one way that I see it every month, and when we have committee meetings and that sort of thing, it's just our folks up here, their commitment to the success of all of our students and staff and just making Boerne ISD a great place. So that's definitely somewhere I see it a lot.
We also one of our core values is every child, every day. And I think here in our board meetings, we demonstrate that because we do our commendations and we have you guys here first. So we have the students, they get to participate first in our board meetings as well.
Great, thanks.
Hello, my name is Juliana Hernandez, and I'm in 8th grade, and I am a member of BMSS Student Council. I have a question. What makes BISD stand out in comparison to other school districts?
Can I lead on that one, Chrissy?
for it.
Okay, well, thank you for your question. And this is one of the things I love to talk about, just being in Boerne for a long time. I didn't really appreciate it when I was younger, but now being able to raise a family in Boerne, I love that my kiddos have a place that feels like such great community. And I think that's what makes Boerne ISD special is this small town feel that we have. And even though we have over 11,000 students, I think and I hope that we still try to maintain this small town feel within our schools. And I think you can see that with traditions and the cultures that we have, not just BISD as a whole, but with each individual campus. I think that each school tries to have cultures that make it feel really special. And I also think the community supports our school district so well. We have a lot of partners in our community that really value students and really believe in what y'all are learning, and we can see that through our CTE programs and how these companies want to bring in Boerne ISD students to go work at their companies and have internships. So I think it's really special how our community wraps its arms around our students and believes in y'all. So I hope that gives you hope that you may be young, but you're wise and you're learning, and I think our community members see that. And I think that's what makes Boerne ISD so special, is this relationship factor.
Thank you for your answer. Hi, I'm Brianna Rangel, and I'm a 7th grader, and I am the secretary of Boerne Middle School South Stuco. Some of our neighboring school districts have changed to a 4-day school week. Has BISD ever considered doing that now that the school voucher bill has passed in Texas? I think this may really help retain students and teachers in public education.
Well, that is certainly a hot topic right now, the whole 4-day work week. Let me say this, our first focus as a district, as board members working with administration, is always going to be what's the best educational option for our students. What is going to lead to the maximum success of our students? That's paramount. There were several of us that went to a workshop on this at a summer training program that we attended for trustees. And it seems like the vast majority of districts adopting the 4-day work week are very, very small and very, very rural, where quite oftentimes they have a hard time attracting teachers to come work for them. And so the retention issue is really, really important, but there's a lot of ways to maximize retention of your staff, of your teachers, beyond going to a 4-day week. And the legislature is addressing a number of those. Hopefully, they will end up doing the right thing where we can honor our educators with the compensation that they deserve. One thing that is important, the Texas Education Agency has come out with an initial study that compares districts that have gone to a 4-day week with those that have retained a 5-day week. And initial data seems to show that there's been a drop-off in educational achievement. We'll see if that continues. But what Boerne will do, we want to be a leader. Whatever we do, We want to look at the pros and cons of all issues, and whatever we do, we want to be a leader as one of the best districts in the state of Texas. So we will focus on lessons learned and what's in the best educational interests of our children.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Ella Tochinsky, and I'm the 7th grade student council historian. My question is, have you ever considered adding more advanced courses to the middle schools, like forensic science, biology, and architecture, to help students decide what field might be right for them in the future?
What types of classes would you like to be offered in middle school?
Well, personally, when I'm older, I would like to become a veterinarian, and I know that the high school has an agriculture course, but I know in other school districts, especially one of my friends, they have a forensic science forensic science course, and I just think that would be very cool to like see if that's something I would like to do in the future, and if it's like if it's offered at the high schools, if I could take that and maybe get like an internship so I can just get ahead in that course.
That's a great idea. Explore like an exploratory class to see what fields you're interested in. Is there a class that you take right now or that you can take that kind of gives you a little bit of background on a bunch of different types of pathways?
We offer STEM and like engineering courses, but we don't really offer any kind of advanced science courses beyond our normal core science classes. So I think if we maybe offered a more technical and more to the level of like me, a 7th grader, for like a biology class, I think that could really like help me advance in my education before I become a veteran.
I think that's a great idea. Maybe Miss Flores can help us with that. Thank you. That's a great idea. Good question.
Can you tell me real quick about your CCR class? Are y'all all in CCR right now? Can you speak to that? Because I think that you're kind of learning to explore like maybe what you might be interested in. Do you think that's a valuable class in middle school?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Great job.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. President, our trustees, and Dr. Kraft to join me on the floor for our commendations. Each school board meeting, we're excited to celebrate several outstanding students and staff this evening. We'd love for you to stay until the end so every honoree feels that Boerne love and support. Thanks for being here to help us honor them. We're going to start off with congratulations to our Air Force Junior ROTC. The instructor team and the Corps of Cadets earned an overall exceed standards on their formal unit assessment. Let's give them a round of applause for their hard work and their commitment. Congratulations. Tonight, we'd like to take a moment to recognize Emma Barraza from Champion High School for winning the 5A gold medal for the short film Bake with Love in the category Traditional Animation. Let's give Emma a huge round of applause. We're excited to recognize Colt McCune from Champion High School for his 4th place finish in the Law-Related Education Regional Citizen B. Way to go, Colt. Let's give him a round of applause. Tonight, we're thrilled to recognize Boerne Middle School South students Faith Whitney, Caitlin Perez, Janusi Bata, Claire Pevy, and Hannah Zukowski for their letters from the Alamo Essay Regional Contest, and some of them won $1,500 for placing. Let's give them a round of applause. Our next commendation is to celebrate Champion High School students Adriana Swanson, Carter Lang, Avery Knight, and Kaleo Leach for earning the National Speech and Debate Association Academic All-American Award. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Our next commendation recognizes an extraordinary student, Brianna Hulsey from Captain Mark T. Voss Middle School for winning the $1,000 Dr. Ben Carson Scholarship and first place in the District UIL Science Competition. Our next commendation goes to Ben Paulson. He wasn't able to make it, but he went to the regional spelling bee. He's with Cibolo Creek Elementary School. Let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations to Champion High School student Zach Aston. He is one of 5 all-state trombonists in Texas to qualify for the All-State Jazz Ensemble. Way to go, Zach. We have lots of pictures to go. We're going to give you a lot of practice up there. All right, congratulations. April is Volunteer Appreciation Month, and we're excited to recognize our incredible PTOs and the Boerne Education Foundation. Many of our volunteers wear multiple hats, serving as mentors on booster clubs, leader steps, and Boerne ISD committees throughout the year. Thank you for your dedication and for serving our students, teachers, and schools. We do have a lot of PTOs, but you know what? I bet they're all volunteering somewhere. They're busy. It's Volunteer Appreciation Month. Thank you for volunteering. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to Denise Bakar from Fair Oaks Ranch Elementary for being named the 2025 District Teacher of the Year. And we are also grateful for our community partner, Vic Vaughn, Toyota of Boerne, who surprised her with a big check, a really big check for $10,000 during last month's BEF Rock On event. Congratulations, Denise. And she's with Fair Oaks Ranch Elementary School.
You guys want it on this side.
Round of applause to Denise. Congratulations. And we're excited to recognize our District Teacher of the Year Selection Committee. Thank you for thoughtfully reviewing each submission and selecting an outstanding educator to represent our district. All right, let's give them a round of applause. A big congrats to the Champion High School Jazz Ensemble for winning 4th place in the varsity division. And a special shout out to trombone standout Daniel Stewart for hitting all the right notes and earning a spot in the All-Star Festival group. Congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. And a big congratulations to the Boerne High School Jazz Band for earning Superior Rating Awards at both the Taft and Stevens Jazz Festivals. A special shout out to Michael Miller and Aiden Chalou for earning Distinguished Soloist Awards. Way to go, guys. Let's give them a round of applause. Now we're excited to recognize the Voss Middle School robotics team for winning first place for the gracious performance and best theme at their recent competition, and the sixth graders won first in innovation. Y'all are amazing. Congratulations. All right, let's give them a round of applause. We are not done with robotics yet. Next up, we're excited to recognize the Champion High School Robotics Team 8114 for winning the Safety Award and Autonomous Award at a regional competition. Keep up the great work, guys. That's amazing. Let's give them a round of applause. Next up is our final commendation for the evening. If you could please take a look at the screens.
When I think of what I'm most passionate about,
Surprise.
it is about leading by example and making sure that I'm better tomorrow than I was the day before. So every day we have a chance for a fresh start. And I'm about the work. And I want to pull up a chair alongside you, talk about the work, where are the challenges, where are the opportunities, and how are we telling our story? We have the opportunity to shape the next generation. The work that we do creates leaders, and I take that very seriously.
All right, let's give our very own superintendent, Dr. Kristen Kraft, a hand. And we've got something for you here. Yeah. And blue, a little bit of both. Yeah. No. It wasn't. Surprise. We worked hard to make it a surprise. So as many of you probably already know, our very own superintendent was named an Educator of the Year from her alma mater, Sam Houston State University. And so we're just so proud of her. And we asked the selection committee to give us some of their criteria and some of their thoughts on why they selected her for this prestigious award. This is what they came back with. They had a record number of nominees for the award this year, with 20 candidates making it to the final round for consideration by the committee. The application progress is rigorous, and nominees were required to submit evidence of their work, letters of reference, and supporting documentation. Those selected for the award came highly recommended and are well accomplished and are outstanding leaders in education. The Distinguished Educator of the Year Award is the highest honor the College of Education for the university can bestow. Dr. Kraft stood out to the committee based on her longstanding commitment to meeting the needs of all students in a variety of ways and in the variety of leadership roles that she has held. Her career embodies the university motto, "The measure of a life is its service," and the core value of the college, which is to make a difference in the lives of those we serve. So we're so proud of Dr. Kraft, and we're so lucky to have you. A year and a half now, and many more. So it's so great. Thank you.
all have this down. Let's give Dr. Kraft a round of applause. We have a few videos tonight. In honor of Volunteer Appreciation Month, we're excited to recognize our Core Values in Action recipient, Peter Vargas. He's a crossing guard at Kendall Elementary School, and fun fact, he's also the father of our District Teacher of the Year, Denise Bakar. Please roll the video.
Mr. Vargas is always nice to others and always kind. When he's been a substitute, he's been a nice teacher.
All my kids are my favorites, all of them. I don't have one special kid that is a favorite one. They're all wonderful. I want to thank them for their love and support to me and what I see them do with other students and their teachers and our administration and staff here at Kendall. We have a wonderful class of students who truly are respectful, who are hungry to learn, who are wanting to learn and move forward. How are you, buddy? How are y'all? Junior, good morning, sir.
Mr. Vargas is the most genuine, kind, authentic human I think I've ever met. He volunteers to do things for the campus outside of school, such as our crossing guard in the morning. He loves to be out there. He's out there early. He's made a lot of friends with parents, and then in the afternoon, dismissing our students as well. He goes above and beyond to prepare our students for the Spanish spelling bee, so he pulls them during any of the free time that he has. At Kendall this year, we've really been showcasing a culture of excellence, and so Mr. Vargas has exhibited all of the core values from the district, even before they became a focal point for us. But especially this year, not only with our students and our staff, we had a new custodial team that joined our campus this year, and Mr. Vargas identified that there was a language barrier that was impacting them becoming a team. And so he took it upon himself to dedicate time at the end of every day to meet with the team so that they understood, what the goals of the campus were and how that aligned to their work, and ensured that communication was two-way and that everybody was feeling respected and part of the crew. So, we really appreciated that too.
Oh, what a smile. Look at that. There we go.
And Mr. Vargas is here tonight.
Mr. Vargas. Good evening. Thanks for coming. Does anybody have any comments for Mr. Vargas?
I just want to say the enthusiasm within your family is amazing.
We didn't plan it this way tonight. It worked out. That was wonderful.
And contagious. So thank you for all you do for our students.
Sure, it's a pleasure. It's an honor, and it's done with a lot of love. We really do care for our children at our school and throughout the district.
I see such a servant heart, and thank you so much for just setting a great example in our community. And I too also I couldn't take my eyes off of your family and how proud of you they are. And I echo that. We're so proud of you. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is a great example of when the students earlier were asking what makes Boerne ISD such a great place, and it's people like yourself. Crossing guard. It's really Boerne ISD's day starts at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. When the bus drivers are warming up the buses and getting everything ready, and the crossing guards are getting out there in the cold, rainy weather, and loving on our kids all the way from the time they get picked up and dropped off at school, and then loving on them all the way till they get back home. And I think that's you're exactly the reason why this is such a great place.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. We have one more video. Tonight's BEF Wow Moment takes us to Viola Wilson Elementary. Thanks to a BEF grant, students are grooving to the beat of bongos, which not only make music, but also help boost brain development. Let's check out that video.
Hi, my name is Mia. Welcome to Viola Wilson Elementary School. Today's wow moment will be in Miss Armadillo's music classroom, where the students are learning about group drumming.
So I requested 12 tubano drums to use in our music classroom here at Viola Wilson Elementary. The tubano is actually a modern instrument introduced in the late 20th century, and it's inspired by the Latin American and African drums of the conga and the djembe. Tubanos are very versatile and accessible instruments that can be used for people of all age and skill levels. Group drumming is a great way for students to express themselves, learn how to communicate with others, and to build relationships through creative music making. Most importantly, music is fun and is for everyone.
Thank you for supporting every student and every teacher and every school in Boerne ISD.
That wraps up our inspiring videos for this evening. Thank you.
Great. It's always good to see what BEF is doing, and looking forward to hearing more about that later on tonight. So it's always good stuff. Okay, the next item on the agenda, we've got visitor comments and testimonials. We don't have any public comments for tonight, so we'll move on to approval of the agenda. I'd entertain a motion to approve. We've got a motion, a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, the agenda is approved as presented. The next item is consider action, if any, regarding items discussed in closed session. We've got two motions. We'll start with the approval of routine personnel items. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel report as presented?
Mr. President, I move the Board of Trustees approve the personnel report and contract recommendation as presented by the administration, including the issuing of employment contracts to campus administrators and certified professionals for the 2025 and 2026 school year as discussed in closed session.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, the personnel report is approved. The other one is, do we have a motion to approve as discussed in closed session? Got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, so we got our approvals there, those motions. Okay, next up, we've got the consent agenda. If there's not any discussion on that, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. We've got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. The consent agenda is approved. Okay, next up, we've got governance and board training hours report. Let's see, I've got a deal to read here. In regards to that, we don't need a motion, but I do need to do the report on our annual training hours. The State Board of Education requires continuing education each year of service for all sitting board members as a basic obligation and expectation. As board president, I am required to announce the name of each member who, as of that member's anniversary of election or appointment to the board, has completed, exceeded, or is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. Boerne ISD board members Christy Schmidt, Courtney Darter Bruce, Maritza Gonzalez Cooper, Carlin Fryer, Dallas Pipes, Rich Sinnott, and myself, Garrett Wilson, have all exceeded the required hours in all categories. So, good job, everybody, for this year with all of our training. Okay, next up, we've got board member reports. Anybody want to start? Mr. Fryer, do you mind, since you're towards the end over there?
Yeah, I'm on my island over here. So.
By yourself?
So we had a facilities committee meeting on April the 10th. We discussed the following items. The future programming focus group conducted the site visits to various school districts around the state to gather information on the instructional programs there. We had Huckabee Architects nearing completion of the elementary school level educational specifications, which will provide a roadmap and standard for the district. They will provide a draft deliverable for review and move forward with the secondary campuses next. Next steps include creating technical specifications to establish construction standards. To date, we have undertaken 49 projects related to the 2022 bond. Of those, 23 have been successfully completed, with the remaining projects in process. We held ribbon cuttings at the Legacy Libraries and at Champion High School's P-TECH edition. The Champion High School band pad, the striping's been completing, lighting and electrical outlets are pending. Lighting will utilize dark sky compliant poles and operate on a timer, and striping is currently under review to ensure compliance with district standards. The Boerne Academy training rooms are released for use now on the old academy side here. The Aquatics Learning Center, the district continues to be engaged with the contractor Integrity to include their president to express concerns over the continued delays of the completion of the pool and established a May 28 final completion deadline. There's daily site visits, worker counts, and progress discussions ongoing. The district met with TxDOT to discuss multi-year plan to widen Ralph Fair Road, which is also known as 3351, and the potential impact on Boerne ISD. Discussions included developers' request for access to Voss Parkway, and the district is coordinating with our architect to determine connection point on the property. The next meeting for the Facilities Committee will be on June the 10th. You want to keep going? All right. On April 16th, we had the Board Finance Committee. Following items were discussed. We went the 2024-2025 expenditure projection discussion and the budget amendment that we will look at later on this evening. Mr. Scott presented expenditure updates and the upcoming budget amendment to the committee, which has the potential to significantly reduce the previously expected deficit. We reviewed and had a discussion on the top 10 taxpayers in Boerne ISD. We reviewed the quarterly investment report that we just approved in the consent agenda. Observations from this report: Mr. Scott presented the quarterly investment report for July 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025, and showed a total portfolio value of $116.6 million. And on that money, we have earned approximately $4.66 million in investment income year to date, with average annual returns around 5% across various pooled funds. And then we had a high-level discussion regarding accumulated leave payout for retirees. Dr. Rhodes-Pruin presented a comparison for various school district policies in our area regarding retiree staff payouts for the previous 4 years and the budgetary impact they have had and could have in the coming years. And the next meeting of the Finance Committee will be on May the 7th. Do you want to do safety and security, or do you want me to? Okay, you can do. I'll stop there then. Great job.
Okay, Safety and Security Committee met on Wednesday, April 16th to discuss key topics including the EOP, Cyber Annex, flock camera system, which was installed at both CHS and BHS, and it's such a cool system, Campus Guardian Angel update, Central Office Connects that is being used for safety updates, and the Central Office staff, and upcoming social media presentations for fifth graders. The committee also reviewed lessons learned from Boerne Middle School South, Van Robb Elementary School audit results, and scheduled age-appropriate CRACE presentation dates. The next meeting is set for Tuesday, July the 16th at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks.
I will be giving the Board Program Evaluation Committee review. The team met on March 26th. We discussed three main things: the Spanish Immersion Cohort 1 review, the Reading Language Arts Committee recommendations, and a Bluebonnet Math update. So for the Spanish Emergent Cohort 1, after analyzing the results from the middle of year testing, it was concluded that students are performing well above the BISD average in both English and Spanish. Additionally, students are excelling in math as well, showing positive results across subjects. A key topic discussed was preparing Spanish immersion students for English language testing in grade 3. As students transition to testing in English, there will be a focused effort to ensure they are fully prepared for the challenges of these assessments. With the success of Cohort 1, the discussion moved to the planning phase for the recruitment of Cohort 2. And because our dual language and kinder can sometimes fill up quickly, this is a great option to be able to have these Spanish emergent cohorts. The Reading Language Arts Committee, the group interviewed the recommendations from the Reading Language Arts Committee for supplemental programming for the 25-26 school year. The committee proposed several product options that are expected to be engaging for both staff and students. The recommendations aim to enhance the learning experiences and support the academic success of all students. Really, it was just a recommended by using combinations according to what grade level. So for K through 2, they're going to be doing M class with Boost, and then 3 through 5 Amira with iStation, and then 6 through English 2, IXL and Amira iStation. And this is the first time we have supplemental for the high school students. And then Bluebonnet Math update. There was discussion regarding the Bluebonnet Math program. It was clarified that this program is the same as Eureka Math. The only change is the rebranding to the name Bluebonnet Math. So the same structure that teachers and the students are used to in Eureka, they're still getting that from Bluebonnet. And I have one more quote. PTO presidents met on April 11th, and they were able to get bond updates from Mr. Romero. They were able to get a budget update. We, the board, will host their PTO Officer Appreciation Breakfast on May 9th here at Central Office. We discussed Senior Walk, which will be district-wide on May 15th. And they're just busy with field days and planning end-of-year parties, and Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up May 5th through 9th.
Thank you, Christy. All right, well, I've got 3, and I'll try to make them short and sweet. Dallas Pipes, my fellow trustee, we tag team on systems of care, so I'll start with that one. We did meet on April the 3rd. This committee is unbelievable. I love the heart behind it, so it's truly an honor to be a part of it. The purpose is to deliver comprehensive, coordinated, and collaborative services to students with complex needs and their families. So we have the greatest honor of being able to walk with these families and be a part of the process of seeing how our wonderful district comes alongside these families during their hardest times, their darkest hours. We received an end-of-year update that highlighted work from the entire year. It's truly moving. Some key accomplishments included expanding our guidance program to include character education, developing suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention protocols. So it's unbelievably important how this program just loves on our students and their families literally right where they're at. Increasing the number of partnerships with state and local providers for mental health care, implementing a responsive service protocol that help families manage a crisis. This is unbelievable, within the first 24 hours of the crisis. So they literally meet people where they're at. We were able to brainstorm ways to promote the system of care moving into year 2. The ideas included speaking to campus student council members, posting flyers in Counseling Corner, including information in our campus newsletter, sharing brochures and blessings in a backpack bag, and distributing literature at back-to-school events. So truly raising awareness how these kids that are in crisis can reach out. The committee approved the final draft of the Care and Share Center logo. We also got to visit the Care and Share Center. The first phase of the Care and Share Center provides families with resources such as food, clothing, when they experience a crisis. In the past month, 5 families have accessed resources in the center. Phase 2, the college and career portion of the center, will begin development in fall of 2025. I got to stop by today and actually drop off 4 bags of hand-me-downs of gently used clothing. So please spread awareness of the Care and Share Center. We hope that other families that are in crisis and need are able to reach out, and there is no shame. It is just truly our district rallying around these families. So I can't even wait to the next meeting, which will be in September of 2025. Truly an unbelievable program led by Krista Pomeroy. So thankful. The second one, the Student Health Advisory Council, an equally important committee or program within our district. The purpose is to ensure that all school-age children have healthy bodies and minds through the education, through health, appropriate health practices, and the modeling of positive and healthy behaviors. We learned that the agreement between Boerne ISD and the Hill Country Council on Drug and Alcohol Abuse, which is HCADA, has been finalized. In February, our committee reviewed proposed lessons and program components that HCADA could provide to Boerne ISD students. We're excited to share that within the upcoming month of April, the program is going to start rolling out on campuses in our district, and we cannot wait to get this program started. Parents also have the opportunity to opt in to this, so it's not a requirement, but the curriculum is unbelievable. We are able to review it, and it's just a great program that we're feeling super blessed to be able to partner with HCADA. Also, this unbelievable gentleman is a fellow committee member, Bill Jolly. He goes by Jolly, and he truly is a jolly man. He works for Interrupt Hunger. His goal is to make Boerne the healthiest small town in America. He shared his organization's desire to help all community members learn how to cook, garden, volunteer, and connect. So he is super excited about being at HERF. He's got a kiddo there, and already they've started these health nights on campus, and he's hoping to expand in the coming year across all campuses, having a family health night that the PE teachers and coaches are excited about rolling out just to promote health and wellness on their campus. So we're excited about that. And so if you know of anybody that's interested, please reach out to Krista Pomeroy to get information and invitations about possibly serving on this committee. It's truly a blessing, again, to serve on this one. And my final committee update that I'm going to share was a communications committee. And we all know how important communications is, and it's unbelievable to hear from Dr. Dominguez. She is our new director who's come on board with us, and she's already moving mountains and doing great things within the district. So excited to hear from her. She introduced herself, gave her background to our new committee members, and was able to share of the new campaign of getting our message out and telling our story, not just on hard copy, not just on website, but also on our socials, which is equally important. And not just to our Boerne ISD families, but also to community members who aren't in the school district. But how can we tell our story? If we don't tell our story and tell about all the great things we're doing in our community, the question remains, someone else will, and what are they going to say? So we have so many things to highlight. And so I love this new campaign of really telling our story, getting our message out. And also, we had a district-wide photo shoot on the 17th where a photographer came in and took pictures across the district, every campus. And so this is going to be great to have a photo bank, a video bank. So teachers, staff members will have access when they're doing slide decks or presentations or just need something for their website, et cetera, et cetera. So it's great. We're going to tell our story, and we're going to have great pictures, again, with parental consent, that we can shout out across our community how amazing Boerne ISD is. So we're also, again, just brainstorming at how we can be better at communicating. And I'm so thankful that Dr. Dominguez is taking the charge, and it's an honor to work alongside her in this effort. Thank you for enduring those 3 committee updates.
Okay, great. Let's see. I'm going to go over the legislative advocacy update. What's going on in Austin? They meet every 2 years, and we hope that our legislators improve things and don't make things worse. That's the goal, and I think this year things will get a little bit better. Hope springs eternal. I'm going to go over a lot of the bills that we're keeping a good track on. House Bill 2 is very important to all school districts. It revolves around school finance. The bill was passed overwhelmingly bipartisan, 142 to 5. It does raise the basic allotment from $6,160 up to $6,555, but importantly, it gives every biennium, every 2 years, an adjustment to the basic allotment, which is the primary funding vehicle that funds public education. That will be automatically adjusted every biennium based on property value growth. So if property value goes up X percent, the basic allotment will go along with it. So that's an encouraging feature. We've never had any automatic adjustment on the basic allotment. The bill also includes about $1.8 billion for increased special education funding. It moves to an intensity-based model. I don't know specifically what our benefit out of this would be, but it would be, significant. The bill also includes additional money for the teacher incentive allotment, which is tied to performance in the classroom and on standardized tests. A substantial amount of money is going to small and mid-sized school districts. There's an allotment for small and mid-sized districts because they have overhead, whether they've got 80 kids or 500 kids. And about half the districts in the state of Texas have less than 1,000 students. I mean, these are small, mostly rural districts. And so the legislature felt the need to increase their allotment. The big winner in this bill, in House Bill 2, are the small rural districts. There's no doubt about it. Every district gets more money, but the big winners are small rural districts. Whether that was tied into a desire to get their votes to pass education savings accounts, I don't know, but they are definitely the big winners. Overall, it's about close to $8 billion in new funding for public ed. There was a $24 billion surplus that the state had available. So just under about a third is going to public education. It's a pretty significant amount. This bill now goes to the Senate for their consideration, but what I'm about to show you indicates that the Senate has a very different approach towards increased funding for public education. Senate Bill 26 passed the Senate on a unanimous 31-0 vote, and it focuses exclusively on teacher pay. Now, in the House bill, what I did not mention was that 40% of the increase in the basic allotment has to go to staff compensation. Okay, that's good, but it does not equal the amount of money in Senate Bill 26 for teacher compensation. There's a teacher retention allotment that would be created for if you're a 3 or 4 year veteran of the classroom. In a large district, which we would be considered large, that's a $2,500 raise. For small districts under 5,000, it would be 5,000. And if a teacher's been in the classroom for 5 years or longer, it's $5,500 raise for districts our size, and $10,000 for the really small ones. Now, what you'll find in a lot of these small rural districts, they may start their teachers at $38,000, $37,000, $40,000. Very, very low amount of money. Of concern to us is that there are some small districts, not that far from us, that pay less than us, but maybe $5,000. So we want to be competitive not only with the north sides of the world, which we lag, but we want to be very competitive to all the little guys. So we really are keeping an eye on this bill. We've actually had some conversations with Chairman Creighton's staff, and they're great to work with. They listen and they take notes, which is good. They also expand the teacher incentive allotment. Senate Bill 26 would make children of public school teachers qualify for free pre-K services. Right now, I believe they pay like $675 a month, which is great compared to daycare, but it's still $675 a month, and that would be a nice nice thing for our teachers with young children. And right now, this bill is in the House Education Committee. They have not had a hearing on it. House Bill 2 will go from the House to the Senate. Will the Senate amend House Bill 2? Will it incorporate elements of Senate Bill 26 into the House bill regarding teacher pay? Who knows? We have no idea. but we're going to have to keep an eye on this because today is, we have about a month and a half left in the session, and a lot can happen in a month and a half. The Senate also has a bill, Senate Bill 260, which would increase, the House version for school safety would increase the allotment from $10 per average daily attendance to $14, but importantly, from $15,000 to each campus to $37,000. This would generate about $300 to $350 for our district. The Senate version is a little bit different. It goes from $10 per ADA to $20 and $15 per campus to $30. Senate Bill 260, which was passed in the Senate unanimously, and House Bill 124 was passed. Well, House Bill 124 on school safety was blended into Senate Bill 260. So now the two differing versions are going to go to a conference committee, and they'll sort it out and figure out what they're going to do. But clearly, it would indicate that there's going to be roughly a doubling of the amount of money that the state spends on school safety. Senate Bill 568 is for special ed. I mentioned in House Bill 2 that $1.8 billion is included in that bill for special ed. This particular bill by Senator Betancourt also passed the Senate 29-1. Its fiscal note doesn't dedicate as much money to special ed as the House version did, but it does include a lot of the recommendations from the Continuing Advisory Committee for Special Ed. So they're going to have to work out the differences on those two bills. Everyone wants to talk about education savings accounts, vouchers, whatever you want to call it. The House passed its version last week on an 86-63 vote. They target the education savings accounts at 85% of local and state per student funding. It has a very generous amount for students with disabilities, up to $30,000, because many of those schools are extremely expensive, and they have up to $2,000 for homeschool students. In a second, I'll show you what the Senate version was. It's not hugely different, but there are differences. But this is an important amendment. This is a very important amendment that passed. It requires that participating private schools be accredited for at least 2 years. So if there's a brand new private school opening up this August, which I think there is one in Boerne, there is one opening. St. Peter's opening up a school. If they're not accredited for the first 2 years, they're not going to be eligible for. And if you're a private school, you can choose not to participate in this program. You can do that. The other amendment that passed was it has a hard cap of 20% on families earning more than 5 times the poverty level, which for a family of 4 is $156,000. So if you earn above that, the most you can have is 20%, and that's after the students with disabilities have been prioritized. And the reason this went in previously, even though the priority was to go with lower income students and special ed students, the reality is if the applications didn't come in, it's conceivable that 50-60% could go to high income families, which has happened in other states. So this hard cap will minimize that. And it also grants state auditors more power to review the activities of program administrators. These are the 5 organizations that are going to manage and review the applications for the ESAs. It's going to be about 3% of the total budget for ESAs, which is $30 million. Some people have criticized that. But, the reality is any organization has a certain amount of administrative overhead. And there also has to be an annual report to the legislature, including more data on students with disabilities to make sure that they're being properly serviced. Okay, so that's what's in the House version. The Senate version passed 19-12. Instead of 85% of the statewide average, it's $10,000 per kid. Instead of up to $30,000 for students with disabilities, it's an $11,500. At least $2,000 for homeschool versus up to $2,000. And it does prioritize, like the House bill did, students with disabilities. Interestingly, after the House passed its bill 86 to 63. Lieutenant Governor Patrick the next day endorsed the House's version of Senate Bill 2, and he's encouraging the Senate to not even go to conference committee, just pass what the House sent back to the Senate. And that would eliminate the need for a conference committee. And I think his view is that, and that is, they're that close to getting this passed after all these years. Let's just finish it and call it a day. And I wouldn't bet against Dan Patrick. Okay. We went over last month some bills on cell phone usage. Representative Fairley has House Bill 1481 to ban the use of cell phones, tablets, smartwatches throughout the day. It had been in committee a month ago. Well, now it was voted out of committee on a 12-2 vote, and it's on the calendar for the entire House, April 23rd, which is Wednesday. The Senate bill by Campbell, which is similar to 1481, it's still in committee. So I suppose if the House passes 1481, it'll go over to the Senate. The Senate could accept it, and away we go. It becomes law. Okay? Bills on property tax relief. Senator Betancourt would increase the homestead exemption from $100,000 to $140,000. Voters would have to approve that this November, and ISDs would receive additional state aid to counter the financial loss from that $40,000 of home value being exempt from taxes. It passed unanimously in the Senate, bipartisan, obviously, if it was 30-0, and it's been referred to the House Ways and Means. The House Bill 8 proposes additional commercial property tax relief, and House Bill 9 proposes that they use the money, instead of increasing the homestead exemption, to additional reductions in the maintenance and operation tax rate. And that's on the calendar for a vote this Friday. Okay? Now, what does all this mean to us? Well, there's different financial runs out there ranging from this number to this number. Do you listen to Mo Casey? Do you listen to the Legislative Budget Board? We'll just have to see how it goes. House Bill 2 definitely would increase our revenue for next year by a pretty decent amount. But I do want to let people know, just to reinforce, that if you go back 6 years, which is the last time we've had an increase in the basic allotment, between 22% inflation and our enrollment growth, our general fund budget is close to $10 million less than it would have been if we had kept up with inflation and enrollment growth, the combination. That is how the state manages its budget. So they have to stay within population growth and inflation. Well, what's good for the state isn't necessarily good for school districts, because we're 10 million below that, okay? So while it's handy to see that we're going to get some extra money, whatever, any financial run you look at, it comes nowhere close to $10 million. So it's a help, it's progress, but it's not, it doesn't fully go all the way. So that's kind of, if you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them, but sorry to take so long, but we need to know what's going on up there. Because as has been said, you're either at the table, you're on the menu. We've been on the menu for a long time. I will say this much, that after the initial House Bill 2 was submitted, it had some things which were not good for our district. And we, along with many other districts across the state, I was on the phone with quite a few people on the education committee. Are you aware of this, this, and this? And they were. And I want to compliment Chairman Buckley. They did listen to the concerns of a lot of districts. And so whatever the financial runs show now are substantially better than they were a month ago. So one can only hope that progress will continue. So till next month. All right.
That was a great update. Any questions for Mr. Senna? I did have one, if nobody else. Senate Bill 26, did I catch that there's no raise in the basic allotment there? There's the teacher pay increase, but I didn't see anything about the basic allotment.
Right. What the Senate is doing is, and they were very open about it, they said, we want to dedicate more money to public ed, but we want to basically tell the districts our priorities. And their priorities are safety and security, because they're doubling state support for that. They want teacher pay is a huge issue. It's $4.8 billion price tag, and special ed, but no increase to the basic allotment, which of course, doesn't give districts the flexibility to do what we need to do. So it would be wonderful for our teaching staff, but then what about our hourly workers? What about the inflation that we've had for utilities or property and casualty insurance? I mean, I know Wes doesn't sleep at night because these increases in the insurance, it's terrible. They're going up through the roof. So yeah, that's problematic. Now, will the Senate really continue to push their teacher pay bill and say, okay, House, we'll funnel the extra $2 billion that you dedicated to public ed that we did not, and we'll put that towards the basic allotment? That'd be nice if they did that. We'll see. Yeah.
Good, great reports and great summaries, guys. Dr. Kraft?
All right, thank you. Well, as you can see, being a board member is way more than just one meeting a month. And so thank you to all of our trustees for the work that they do in the committees and following legislation and just being engaged around our community. Wanted to share our enrollment. We're at 11,141. And in our Friday update, you may have noticed we gave you some good news about attendance over the last 3 years. So Mr. Scott is always tracking our attendance, and we're really pleased to share some gains that we are seeing coming out of COVID. So after the 6 weeks of school, we are seeing a positive trend. We have had 3 straight years of attendance gains that match or exceed our enrollment gains. And so we've seen that increase between 0.3% up to 0.5 percentage point increase. And so kudos to all of our principals and our teachers for the work that they're doing that inspires kids to be at school every single day. And, the only thing that you can do is to keep getting better, and everyone tracks back to what was attendance before COVID. And we have just seen some really positive enrollment gains when we pay attention to that. So I wanted to let you know about that piece, and that chart is in your Friday update. And I'm going to go back a few years here. So we're in 2025. The 2023 accountability results were hung up in court with districts around the state who had sued about the rulemaking of the accountability rules in 2023. That has since been squared away, and the 2023 accountability results were released to us Friday, or last Thursday actually, and they will be public this Thursday. And I do want to share with all of you that we will see our 4th consecutive A rating for Boerne Independent School District. So congratulations to all of our teachers and staff and leaders for just continuing to make sure that Boerne is an amazing place to raise a family. Our schools received 20 distinctions. And we'll have a press release go out on Thursday that shares that news about the 2023 accountability rating. And then, so 2024 is still under a lawsuit. And so who knows when that will be decided on. But in the middle of all this, we're in 2025 right now, and we have STAR testing going on. And, those tests have evolved over the years. And so we have testing tomorrow and another day this week. And so we're working our way towards all the AP testing that takes place the first 2 weeks of May. So people are hard at work. Teacher Appreciation Week, as Ms. Schmidt shared, is around the corner, the first week of May, and we're grateful for all that our PTOs do to put together really special things for our teachers to enjoy that week. And then tomorrow is National School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, so some of us will be over at the bus barn bright and early tomorrow to thank our bus drivers, and thanks to Dr. O'Hare for all of his leadership with our transportation department. And pleased to share that Boerne ISD was selected to present 2 sessions this summer at the TASB School Board Leadership Conference. So Krista Pomeroy is presenting, along with Bryce Bodie and Stacy Almaguer, really presenting on our system of care in Kendall County and that Behavioral Health Coalition. And then we just received notice from Orrin, our partner at TASB, that we were selected to present on ensuring smooth superintendent transitions. And so there will be a group of us presenting what we've done over the past year and a half at the school board conference in June. So we're excited about that. And I just want to wish our Champion High School One Act Play good luck. They are competing at regionals on Friday. They did a phenomenal job that has taken them very far. If they place well at regionals, they'll go to state. And so Friday's a big competition day for them over at Southwest ISD, and I can send you the updates for the time if you're interested in going. And then, Mr. Senna, thank you so much for your legislative review. ELT was meeting today, as we meet every Monday, and we're talking about the content we're bringing to you at the May budget workshop. And so Ms. Rhodes Prune is going to work on compensation scenarios that are updated to see what we're noticing now from legislation that is getting firmed up as we go. So we'll have a really healthy discussion plan for May 5th because we know you're marching fast towards budget approval in June. And those are my remarks.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Dr. Kraft, we may not know the answer since they haven't publicly released the information on the 23 accountability studies, but it would be interesting to know how many districts have hit an A in all 4 years when that information's come out. And I'm just circling back to the very first question that we had from the students from Middle School South earlier. What makes BISD stand out in comparison to other school districts? And you really think about, you don't get 4 A's because of us sitting up here. You get 4 A's because of the teachers in the classrooms and the administrators on those campuses. And kudos to them for that accomplishment. Because I would venture to say that's probably a pretty small list of all 4 years doing that.
Yes, as soon as all of that information is public, it's on Ms. Flores's list to track down how many other districts have 4 consecutive A ratings.
The 20 distinctions is amazing. I don't think we've ever had that many. What is it usually like?
You know, I was going to ask, I think the last time was 8 or 9. So to go from 8 or 9 to 20 is really, really good. You know, I guess I understand why there was a lawsuit to hold off on the release of the rankings. It was because I think the concern from some districts was that the rules were changed in the middle of the game, but my own personal opinion is so many of these districts are the ones that never wanted an A to F system to begin with. So I question whether they really favor accountability. And we're all about accountability here in Boerne. And that's a good thing. We want our kids to learn. We want them to excel. So I'm proud that the 4th year, and I have confidence that whenever they resolve this latest lawsuit, we'll get a 5th A. And then this year we'll get another one, right? Well, at least we hope.
Any more questions, comments for Dr. Kraft? Great. Well, thank you very much. Okay, the next item up, we've got our P-TECH report by Ms. Polis, who is our Director of Advanced Academics and College Career and Military Readiness.
Mr. President and members of the board, Dr. Kraft, thank you for having me tonight. I'm going to present on our annual P-TECH update. So in reviewing our BISD core values, like we've mentioned many times this evening, P-TECH programs really are designed to remove obstacles for our students, which align directly to our BISD core values. In looking at our district scorecard and focusing primarily on student success, it is our goal that by 2028, 100% of our students graduate CCMR. P-TECH is aligned directly with that. All of our students should graduate meeting CCMR that are in our in Boerne ISD, we have 2 P-TECH programs. We have our P-TECH in Health Science that's located at Boerne High School and is partnered with San Antonio College. And then we have our P-TECH in Cybersecurity that is partnered with Northwest Vista College and is located at Champion High School. And a special thank you to Ms. Courtney Darter Bruce and Ms. Maritza Gonzalez Cooper for serving on our advisory boards. Thank you. This evening, I'm going to review House Bill 3 and CCMR and kind of how P-TECH plays a part in that, our outcome-based measures, and our program-specific data. So CCMR contributes to our district accountability, as you all know, and CCMR really has 2 components. We have the college readiness component and our career readiness component, and P-TECH blends those 2. So it blends the advanced academics piece or college readiness piece, and it blends our CTE or our career readiness piece into one program. And our P-TECH's program success and our student outcomes are measured by what they call OBMs, outcome-based measures. And there are 3 specific criteria for that. We have access, achievement, and attainment. So if you look at the left one for access, we must stay within the district criteria for our population. So for example, for at-risk students, we cannot be more than 25% under the district percentage for at-risk. And that same theory applies to all of those sub-pops, just with different thresholds. For achievement, we must meet targets in at least 3 of the 5 indicators listed there. TEA looks at our EOC scores, our college readiness, high school graduation rates, and our CTE program status. And then for attainment, we must meet criteria in 3 out of those 6 categories, which really focuses on college credits earned, associate's degrees earned, IBCs earned, and then, sir.
So on access, I'm assuming those criteria are in there to make sure that we're not cherry picking students.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it's to make sure that we have a representation of all of our sub-ops. Should we get to a point where we're reaching a cap, we have to enter into a blind lottery. So we are fortunate that we did not have to do that moving into next year.
Good.
Focusing specifically on P-TECH cybersecurity now housed at Champion High School, students that are in that program are working towards an Associate of Applied Science in Cybersecurity and Information Assurances, and of course various IBCs. Our enrollment in that program is sitting at 179 students. Our first official cohort are class of 2026, which are current juniors. However, we did have some students that joined their sophomore year, so those students are seniors this year and are graduating. The breakdown for college credit hours earned there are listed by cohort, and at about $120 per college credit, it's about a $296,000 savings to our families for just the P-TECH cybersecurity program. As we all know, TSI remains a focus for our district, and the TSI assessment is needed for some of our dual credit classes. So our students in our cybersecurity program have been very successful. We have a total of 3 students that are seniors this year. All 3 have met the standards for our TSI in both English and math. Those students that have not yet met the criteria for TSI, we will continue to work with them through individualized tutoring sessions, structured advisories, summer school, and summer bridge opportunities. And we are continuing to test. I believe they tested late last week, and we have additional testing next week at Champion. So it's an ongoing assessment that we try to do regularly on both campuses. So looking at our OBM specifically for cybersecurity, not all of the indicators are yet calculated because we're only in year 3. We have met or exceeded our criteria for access and achievement. For attainment, we are a little bit behind. We are currently at 50%, which meets TEA designation, but we would like to be above that. And so we have a little bit of work to do there. They are only calculating 1 of our attainment criteria out of the 6, and we are knee-deep in data. We feel confident that we will meet the criteria or meet the threshold once all the criteria is being calculated. Our P-TECH in Health Science, located at Boerne High School, students are working towards an Associate of Science degree and also working towards industry-based certifications. And our Health Science program is very popular. Our current enrollment is 200 students, with 189 of those students being freshmen this year. So it's a pretty big group of students. All of those freshman students were enrolled in 6 college credit hours, or 2 classes, but totaled 6 college credit hours, 3 in the fall and 3 in the spring. They all earned their college credit for the fall classes. So that's amazing. And they are currently sitting in that second dual credit class this semester.
Yeah, I noticed a difference in the class of 28 between cyber. Is it there's in the health, there's just more options for college credit?
Sure. So within the Associate of Applied Science, that is a very specific degree. It is really geared towards just our cybersecurity. Whereas with the Associate of Science, they start very quickly, and they're getting an Associate of Science. So their content classes or the core classes start very early on. They're required to take more dual credit faster in the health science.
Now you mentioned there's 189 freshmen, 200 overall. Do we know what it's like for next year?
We are currently looking at about 150, 160 for incoming freshmen. They're still working on finalizing the recruitment for that. That's kind of where we are right now. Our partner with San Antonio College was stressing a little bit about our enrollment. I think whenever they joined forces with Boerne, they weren't expecting what we had to offer. And so it's been a little bit of a push and pull with our partnership there to make sure that we are not reaching a cap. And Ms. Flores has been instrumental in making sure we negotiate that with our San Antonio College. So that was great. Going back to our college credit hours earned, right now we're at about $68,000 cost savings to our families, which is this college credits. And just like our cyber P-Tech, our students are taking the TSI. Right now, we have 2 students that are current juniors. One is TSI complete, the other one is still currently working on that. But focusing on the class of 2028, out of the 189 students that we have in that class, 110 of them have already scored college ready in ELAR, which is fantastic. They do not actually have to master the TSI until their junior year for those dual credit classes, and then they need to master the math TSI by senior year for those dual credit classes, with the exception of a few students that are advanced in math that might be taking those dual credit classes earlier on. Again, we're planning structured advisories, summer bridge, summer school, and again, testing throughout the year to help those students meet that goal. And a few highlights. We do have 2 students that are graduating with associate's degrees this year from our cybersecurity program. Those 2 students have been working with Mr. Babcock's team as their internship this semester, and they also created a virtual escape room for our recruitment events. That's really neat to see. Both of these students will be sitting for their IBCs before they graduate this year. Our health science P-Tech was awarded the JET grant, which is a Texas workforce grant of about $300,000 that allowed us to buy some really phenomenal equipment. And so if you haven't been in the new building at Boerne High School to see that equipment in use, definitely make your way over there. We just finished some training on the anamortage table, and the students are really starting to use it, so it's neat to see. And the last highlight that I wanted to make sure I brought up tonight was that we meet regularly with our TEA coach, and our P-Tech administrator, Lisa Ray, was asked to speak at the Educate Texas conference on establishing leadership teams for new P-Techs in the area. So that's a really great honor that she had. Super excited about that. And just lastly, before I hand it over to you all to ask questions, just thank you for your support. If you've talked to these kids, which I know you have, you've been at ribbon cuttings, you've been in the building, we are truly changing lives. We are truly removing obstacles for these kids, which is what P-Tech's about, and it's just a blessing to be a part of this program. So I appreciate your support.
Awesome.
I was going to say, I'm excited my daughter will be a freshman in the P-Tech program next year, but I just wanted to give a special shout out to Miss Ray. She was unbelievable, and there 150 to 160 kids coming in as freshmen into this wonderful program. She's gone to great lengths to help them get accepted to San Antonio College, and I was just amazed by all of the steps that it takes to get there. But she actually said it's a great way for me to get to know my students before they even get here. So I think her commitment to excellence and to her students is to be applauded. So I'm just excited for the opportunities ahead. I do have a question about the TSIA. I know that it's being taken at the middle school level. So that was kind of intimidating a little bit for some of the kiddos, but how are they being prepared for the TSI before they take it in middle school?
Sure. So we've had some great success. Our CCMR teachers review and prep for those tests, prior to them taking the test. Or the CCMR teachers that have been doing it for a few years are really kind of getting into a rhythm. And so it's really structured tutoring sessions, and they go through practice tests and online modules to help prepare them for that test. And just a reminder, that's a college placement test. So those students that are achieving that in 8th grade is phenomenal.
Super exciting. Thank you so much for your work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
It amazed me how many of those middle schoolers passed that test. It's like 20-30% sometimes.
Right, I would not want to take it as an 8th grader. I'm not sure that I would have had that success. It really is phenomenal. It's all related, or it goes back to the teachers. They're doing the hard work.
It's 2 great programs. Thank you for your presentation.
Awesome. Great information. Yeah, thanks. Okay, our next report up is our Boerne Education Foundation Annual Impact Report, and we have here Mrs. Nicole Gallegos, President of the Board of the Boerne Education Foundation, to give us an update.
Having me. So most of you have attended our events or been at many of our functions for the students and the school. About us, we've been around for 28 years, and we proudly continue this mission to support every student, every teacher, and every school in Boerne ISD. We're established in 1997. The foundation is a volunteer-led, very much like you all. I'm not elected, but we are a volunteer-led nonprofit organization fueled by a deep commitment to educate excellence and strong belief in the power of community. Our impact over the years, we, well, first of all, why were we created? We were created as to support the funding gap of Robin Hood. That was actually a bill that was passed in the state of Texas back in, Rich is going to correct me, 96, 97, 94. So we were created in 97. So 3 years of that gap, and so we as a community, or those that came up before us as a community, felt that it was important to establish the foundation to help support that. And our mission is to support and promote excellence in education. And to date, in the 28 years, BEF has raised a little over $9 million for our district. We do have 24 board members this year. We've raised $580,000 from a gross perspective, and we have awarded $196,284 in teacher innovation grants, otherwise known as TIGs, and we've gifted over $875 teacher gifts.
You know, Nicole, not to interrupt you, but you know, I think the 400,000 or so that you raise each year is fantastic. But you know, it's easy to say out of $100 million plus budget, oh, it's good. But you know, but when you look at that $9 million, you know, we've paid somewhere about $100 million in Robin Hood during this time, but no one ever expected BEF to take the whole place of Robin Hood. But $9 million is a nice chunk of change. That is a very good number that you should be proud of.
Well, we'll keep growing every year. So some of our programs and initiatives, we have 3 main programs. We have the Teacher Innovation Grants, we have the annual campus disbursements, and the school supply teacher gift card. We also maintain a permanent endowment, and we're looking at strategic uses and special profit for that permanent endowment. Then we also support district-wide initiatives. On the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see our disbursement pie chart. So about half of our money of what we raise will go to our teacher innovation grants. And then the other half goes to a combination of the gift cards plus capital disbursement to the schools. So we will take the gift cards based off of the number of teachers and aides we have in the district for the 75, which equaled out about $61,000. And then the remainder of that will be dispersed per capita to each of the schools. And last year, or this year, I should say, it was $146,000. In terms of our fundraising net proceeds, we have 5 main events that we fundraise during the year. Birdies for Bernie, we netted $35,000. Giving Day net was 20. Purse Mania net was 80,000. It was a record year for us for Purse Mania. I think years past we've only netted about 50. Rock On, we netted about 235. Those numbers are still in flux, but that's about average. And employee giving going from July to June is about $21,000. So for next year, and actually starting working on them this year, we're working on some strategic goals, and those include enhancing donor stewardship and retention, and really we have implemented a new program called GiveSmart, which not only allows our donors to donate through GiveSmart, but also allows us to maintain a database, consistent, let's use that word instead, a consistent database, so that way we know over the years who's donated to us and we can reach back out to them. One of the things we've really wanted to try to continue to establish is to reach out to former board members from years past. Like one of our board members right now, Trace Klein, his mom was on BEF in the early years, so like seeing that legacy come through. The other thing we'd like to reach out to are our alum of Boerne ISD and having them come and give back through Boerne Education Foundation, but as more as alumni, and looking at some strategic ways to do that. The other goal we have this year and that we're working on right now is strengthening our bylaws and our policies and procedures. It's been a couple of years since we've implemented, and we've grown and we've changed, and our district has grown and is changing. So we're looking to improve the bylaws and the policies and procedures. We also want to implement a board leadership program to cultivate officer candidates. So currently, right now, we don't have a president-elect. So if I were to roll off the board, which technically I'm slated to, we don't have a president-elect in place that would have trained this year previous. So we're looking to do that this year, and that would go in hand with changing our bylaws and our policies, procedures to implement some new executive committee membership roles, if you will, a president-elect being one of them, so that way we have a president and a president-elect every year, and then as the president rolls off, the president-elect rolls in. And then last but not least, our goal is to advocate for strategic staffing support as we grow, and as we have the need and desire to raise more funds for the district, we need more support. We're currently a party of one, which is Yvette and the 24 board members, and we're looking to grow that from a staffing perspective and working with the district to be able to come to a great solution to support that, to help support our growth and the district's growth as well. Okay, so we also have had some recognition in statewide awards at the Texas School Public Relations Association annual conference in San Antonio. We've had 2 Gold Star Awards. One was our BEF Giving Day video, and the other was a BEF Wow Moment video, I don't know if it was exactly the one you saw earlier today, but those were submitted and we got gold stars for those. And then we also got a Silver Star Award for our BEF Bernies for Bernie. I always say Bernie for Birdie, but it's Birdies for Bernie Top Golf Tournament. For those of, I think most of you know our executive committee and our board, but here are the 9 of us that sit on the executive committee, including our executive director, Yvette Reyna, and then the remaining 15 that sit as our board of directors. And just so proud of these ladies and gentlemen. I have a couple of them here, or 3, so they can wave. It was a tough night to get the rest of us here, plus a long night, because you can see I really cleared the room here. Maybe we could put this earlier. But anyway, we have a really great board and continue to have a great board. And we're in the middle of our nominations and elections, if you will. Now we'll have some additional board members for those rolling off here at the beginning of May. And then a special thank you to Garrett and to Dr. Kraft, our President Garrett Wilson, and Dr. Kraft for all your support this year in attending our meetings and our events. And actually, I would like to extend that to all of you, because every single one of you as a board, as well as the cabinet that are also sitting here, have attended our events and supported us. So thank you so much. And we look forward to continuing great things.
Wonderful. Great. Any comments or questions for Ms. Gallegos?
Just thank you for the work that you do. You know, I don't really know how you put it's a couple $100,000 a year in T grants, but it's all about innovation. It's all about experimentation, new things. I don't know how you put a price tag on that, because ultimately, you know, if it impacts our children positively educationally, it's worth that times 10, you know, so it's appreciate the work you do.
I would echo that. You know, one of the things former board member told me when I got on the board is that, you know, every time you take a vote, the vote should always have a positive impact to a student. And the counter side of that is be respectful of our taxpayer dollar. You're doing that in a way that every program you fund is a positive impact to our students, and we're able to do that by the generosity of sponsorship and the hard work of your committee. So it doesn't go unnoticed. We thank you very, very much for supplementing and helping our students.
Our pleasure, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of the whole board. It really is near and dear to our hearts to support the every student, every teacher, and every school. And I don't just say that because it's our mission and our tagline, but it's very meaningful. And those that know me know I cry about it often.
Thanks. Great.
Thank you.
No, great job. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody there. Okay, Mr. Scott, last but not least, we've got the finance part of the evening.
Good evening, everybody. You've been provided the results of operations through March 31st. The budgetary comparison report doesn't have a particularly grand story to tell at this point in time. They're just nice and boring, operating within expectations, and still see child nutrition fund coming in at a $30,000 surplus to date. To see the story of this report would be the budget amendment, and I provided a breakout of the budget amendment. The budget amendment is just limited to the general fund, the one with all the colors on it. We had an increase in revenue and in expenditures related to on behalf. You'll remember that on behalf is what the state contributes to every. So this is a normal entry we make every year to account for TRS on behalf. We have another adjustment, just a functional reclassification. This is a regularly recurring entry we have every year. We set a budget, federal budget for that every year, and that settles a little bit once the year gets well underway, and we're able to reallocate between functions to match expenditures to reality. There is a $2 million increase to the state revenue. That increase is related to increase in frozen value we saw when the comptroller's report on property value study came out. Hold term list for frozen value increases, fairly new hold harmless from changes in legislation that's only been in place for a couple of years. Used to the appraisal districts on how to report it, the comptroller on how to process that, so that we weren't expected to see that much increase. Take it, and so that was a $2 million increase to state funding, and that's going to be offset by increase to utilities, a little bit higher than what we're expecting. Utilities that we opened this year, and we have a one-time cost related to contract services. We're still looking into the whys of this, but mostly got to take your hire firm to especially a lot more to pay somebody to do it for you than yourself. So we're put in there. That results in a $1.3 million decrease in the deficit, and that's a little bit under $4 million. So other than that, donations that were reported various individuals, every dollar, every hour, every service that's rendered. And then the tax collections, the tax die off a little bit. Some June 30th deadlines with and interest penalties, and we're seen in mostly compliment.
Wes, I did have a quick question. So the June 30th deadline for property tax payments, there's a specific group of individuals that pertains to, and I can't remember what it
would be. All those great taxpayers over.
Okay, that is the deadline for the over 65. Okay. The other thing that I would highlight, just going back to the budget amendment, having talked about it at the Finance Committee meeting, certainly we can't be the only ones that are being impacted by the special education expenses. Obviously, the legislature's taking it up and being focused there, so I'm glad to see they're doing that.
There's good reason that they're moving to the based model.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading today, I can't remember where it was, 60, I think it's estimated that 63% of the districts in Texas expect to run a deficit this year. A couple of questions, Wes. You mentioned a one-time, and I know we've had better luck in recruiting for some of the folks that will be doing the evaluations. So would it be, I mean, I know I'm not looking for a definite, but I would imagine that based on your comment that it's a one-time contracted service, that in all likelihood will not be a recurring expense next year.
That is what we anticipate. The board pass for those positions that we have out, rely on your pull up 2 vacancies.
So the decision that was made back in September to make those changes didn't impact this year, but we really didn't expect it to, but will impact next year. Okay, so that's one time. And also non-recurring, I know that though the board voted, I think it was in October to do a Christmas, I don't know whether you call it a retention allotment or whatever it's called.
Longevity stipend.
Longevity, thank you. Longevity stipend. I know the desire would be to really move away from that and just throw any incremental money we have into raises for our employees. How much did the longevity stipend, because that's kind of a one-time expenditure too. How much was that this year?
That was a little over $500,000.
Okay, so we're now a little over $1 million in what should be non-recurring costs. Okay, and just taking a quick look at the expenditure between the end of March and the end of June in last year's budget, and if, of course, we don't know if the same level of expenditure will occur percentage-wise, but it looks like there might be an opportunity to spend a little bit less than what's remaining in the budget. A sweep. You think there's a possibility of that?
We still have a few items coming in towards the end of the year that we don't know what the outcome. We have 24 property value study that last year yielded a dollar. That varies year to year. We really don't know. One year it was 70,000. Year that out have a frozen values. All the big investment had for 24 frozen values, and the immediate reaction was, why? Those should be 3 first year. It was the first year. Over 800 because of all came in. So shouldn't be for
Yeah, the only reason I bring this up is we're all hopeful that deficit actually is reduced more. I mean, it started the year at 5 million and now it's basically been cut in half. So let's hope that it continues to move in that direction. The other thing I did not mention in the legislative update, there is House Bill 930, I think it's 934, on a SHARS payment. Every 2 years, the legislature passes a supplemental budget to pay for mostly Medicaid expenses that they didn't accurately budget for when they adopted the budget. I don't know why they do that, but it happens every 2 years. But apparently there's a bill to do that for SHARS because we've had a shortfall of a significant amount of money over the last couple of years. And now I've heard that the Senate's not as keen on that. but the House looks pretty favorable, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully that'll be something else that will come to our benefit.
Any other questions, comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
A motion to approve the budget amendments, donation report, and tax collection report as presented.
Second. Got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Scott. Okay, that takes us through the action section of the evening. Future business, we've got May 12th is the next meeting where we'll canvass the election. Professional learning plan approval potentially and a potentially attendance waivers. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.